pointing the gun directly at your brother's chest. Do you feel like it? You feel like you're going to live today? You pulled the trigger. And that's why the jury convicted you.
Next, we head to Jackson, Michigan for a sentencing hearing. 17-year-old Riley Spittler has been convicted of second-degree murder, possession with intent to deliver marijuana, and 2 felony weapons charges. 13 months earlier, Spittler claimed that he and his 20-year-old brother Patrick were playing with a .380 pistol when the gun fired, hitting Patrick in the chest. Spittler called 911, but Patrick died from his injuries. Spittler insisted it was an accident, but prosecutors believed he pointed the gun at Patrick and shot him. When police investigated and learned the brothers had a sometimes strained relationship, he was arrested and charged. Spittler pled not guilty, and after a trial lasting 5 days, the jury returned with a verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant Riley Spittler as follows. Second-degree murder, guilty. Count 2, possession with intent to deliver marijuana, guilty.
Today, after already spending more than a year in jail, Spittler appears before Judge John McBain to hear his sentence. The state is asking the judge to stay within the suggested guidelines of 20 to 40 years in prison. Before Judge McBain makes his ruling, Brian Spittler, Riley and Patrick's father, delivers a statement to the court.
We understand that Riley has to be punished, that he acted in a reckless manner. I lost my other son. I get it. But I'm also his father, and I don't want to lose my second son. I don't want him incarcerated for a long period of time. None of my family does. He's a teenage kid. They don't think. They do stupid things. And I contend to you, that's as simple as this was.
Next, it's the defendant himself who speaks directly to the judge.
I have the intent for this to happen. I would have the intent for my brother's death to occur. I love my brother very dearly, but he's very much missed in our family. I did not understand what I was doing. I was not thinking. And I just wanted to say to Ronnie to please consider that before you make the final sentence. I was not.
What did you think might happen when you point a .380 at your brother's heart and pull the trigger?
Your Honor, I did not know the firearm was loaded.
And then, pointing the gun directly at your brother's chest, do you feel like it? You feel like you're going to live today? You pulled the trigger. And that's why the jury convicted you. But 12 citizens, and I want you to understand, 12 citizens made a determination that it wasn't an accident. It's not just the Spittler family that's a victim here. The whole community is a victim. You know, every kid in this county that hears about this case shouldn't have to read that I'm going to give you 3 or 4 years for what you did. What you did, I'm going to sentence you for what the jury convicted you of.
Your Honor, may I say something?
No, not at this point. I'm ready to rule.
Judge McBain went on to sentence Spittler to a minimum of 22 years in prison. But 3 years later, the murder conviction was overturned based on evidence that should not have been admitted at trial. An appeals court ruled that the, quote, appropriate remedy was to enter a judgment of conviction for involuntary manslaughter and to resentence the defendant, or the prosecution could retry Spittler on the murder charge. Prosecutors opted for the manslaughter conviction, and Spittler was resentenced to a 4 to 15-year prison term. He's since been released after serving 5.5 years of that sentence. Thanks for being a fan of Court Cam. Subscribe to A&E to never miss a new video and catch full episodes on aetv.com.